yet another session of Saath ki baat, LAJA ke saath. This time we have a very interesting guest with us, and I will start off by introducing her very simply. We have all gone through childhoods where our grandparents have told us stories. We have all gone to bed with stories of princes and queens and horse riding stars and I don't know, unicorns and rainbows, and it has been amazing for a person who still believes in dreams and who strongly endorses the line that never let dreams die. For if dreams die, life is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly, and dreams happen when you hear stories. A chance meeting at an event recently made a connect somewhere, and I had to talk to this lady. I had to bring her here and talk to all my LAJA women. And there are so many things to her personality, but I think she should introduce herself to you. So I will just tell you that she is Lopamudra Mohanty, a storyteller. She is the owner and founder of the Big Buddy World, which believes in innovative learning spaces. She is also the founder member at the Mumbai Storytellers Society, and she works at Zubin Driver Theatre. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself and storytelling and the amazing world of stories.
So of course I proudly call myself as a storyteller. So when I tell a storyteller, as you said, it's dreams. So if children don't have dreams, then what is life about? Totally. So that's the space we create. It's a space where when we tell stories, we help them to create memories, and those are positive memories. And when we say positive memories, then we are creating individuals who are happy.
Very important.
And happiness today is very, 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 very important for children, especially when you have a nuclear family.
True.
When you don't have that kind of a support system which was there earlier when there were joint families. And right now, that's where networking with other children, networking through stories, and I'm talking about oral storytelling, not digital storytelling.
Very important.
So that's where when we talk about when I can see the child, I can see the emotion, I can see the smile, I can feel the emotion, I can just touch the child and say, yes, whatever you're thinking is right, whatever you're dreaming is beautiful.
Wow.
That is what I'm talking about when I tell stories. So it's not only stories as such. Parents, when they tell stories, I would say, parents, please go ahead and tell stories to your children. Spend time with your children. That's what is the best gift you can give to your child. Stories, and that's where you create memories and positive memories for your child to grow up and look behind and stay happy.
I think this will be a part of the positive affirmations that we always endorse. We talk about, positive affirmations. When your child wakes up, say good things to the child. When the child is going to sleep, you say good things to the child. But I think instead of coming up with a new thing to say, you're going to be successful, I think you tell the child a story about a successful child. We don't necessarily need to tell stories about Cinderella. I think you can make the child the hero of the story.
I'll tell you, I'll share this thing with you. We have done this research kind of a thing in the sense with children. So for 30 days, if I go ahead and I tell a child that you are the protagonist, for 30 days, every story has the child as the hero of the story. He is solving problems, whatever problem the child is facing, he's solving it. Practical problems, okay? He's solving it. And it's a wonderful. Wow, you've done a wonderful job. And for 30 days, we tell this kind of a story to the child. After 30 days, the child itself will feel that, yes, I am wonderful. Yes, I can do it. Any problem, I can go ahead and find out a solution. And the same thing applies if I'm doing for 30 days, I'm talking to a child and I'm saying that there is any yoga. In the story. No, it's not possible. There's someone else who comes and solves the problem. It's not, you can't do it. Of course, after 30 days, you see the same child who has been told a story like that, believes that he can't do it. So that is how stories work. That's how powerful stories are. And that's why I say that it's not only storytelling, it has to be a very responsible storytelling. What are the things you edit from the story? What are the things you tell tell in the story? What are the things you highlight in a story? That is where you need to go ahead and think about it before preparing and before going ahead and telling a story, especially to impression mind is very effective to that.
So, going by that, I think parents need to go through a session of what kind of stories to tell their children. Because I think this is also a time where the parent can connect with the child, right? Where without having digital things interrupting you, just that half an hour a day or half an hour just before the baby sleeps, I think is.
So we tell parents that if you tell your child a story every day, so you don't spend money.
True.
What are the things you need to do? Hold your child near to you. And when parents come and tell us that, oh, my child is not reading, oh, my child doesn't sit, oh, this is what. I mean, okay, fine. How much time do you spend with your child? The moment you come back from office, I know it's a difficult thing right now with the kind of travel, with the kind of job everyone has. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. True, if you want it, but there are parents who take out time from their busy schedule and they do it. And there is a difference between those children and the children who are not exposed to stories. Huge difference with their vocabulary. If you talk about technical skills, yes, their reading proficiency as well as the social emotional skills. It's a huge difference where they are exposed to reading, exposed to stories, and not exposed to stories through parents.
This is we endorse the fact that storytelling and reading is a must, and it's very important for the overall development of the child.
Yeah.
The reason I call you here is very specific. Now, all of us have heard of epilepsy. You've all seen cases. I hope everybody has not seen cases of that, but you've at least heard of that. Now, the general perception is that a person suffering from epilepsy is not really involved in society, but you're scared what will happen. And here we have a person who's been through that, done that, and she has used storytelling to make a difference to her life, to make a change in her life. And that is the story that I want to hear today. That is the story that I want you to share with the rest of the world.
Sure.
So please tell us what happened, what changed, and how did you change?
Sure. For me, every year I decide that I go ahead and take up a new skill, something new I should learn, or something new I should do.
Okay.
So that's like that's that in the sense every year I should do something new.
Like a resolution.
Okay. So one particular thing, some new skill or something new I should do. So I am epileptic, and it took me 2000. I was born in the year 1972, and today is 2019. It took me so many years to talk about it in public.
And it takes courage.
So this year, I think that was what was the decision that I need to be open about it, because I've seen certain children, certain individuals go through the situation and they have been interpreted in a different way, and that's where was there inside me that I need to come out with it. So I think when I was in 5th standard and I was in my dance class and I had my first epileptic attack. I loved dancing, I loved horse riding, I loved running, I loved swimming, and one fine day everything stopped. Yeah, it stopped, and I was told, no, you can't do it. Any kind of physical activity is completely banned. That is where I didn't understand what had happened, and of course because I was a complete outdoor person, and suddenly everything stopped. Now, my parents didn't know how to handle it also. So, of course, they were scared because I might fall down, I might get hurt, and I understand their emotions, so everything stopped. So, then, of course, there were a lot of going to hospitals, getting checked, and EEG, which is like wires on your head and all those things happening, and you don't understand what is happening.
I think it's very scary.
It's scary scary for parents because at that point of time you don't understand anything. You
Okay.
think that what is happening and you go ahead and you. And then I think my father, he told no. If you want to do it, you can.
Oh wow,
So
that's
that's
so
the
amazing.
support system. I say how my father helped me in the sense I can go ahead and do it. We'll take certain precautions, but yes, go ahead and do it. And of course, I had to take my medicines. I had to. It's a lifelong medicine which you need to take. And when I met my would-be husband, I mean, when I met him, at that time you know how it is interpreted. You know, it's not like epilepsy is something to do with brain, and brain ठीक से नहीं काम कर रहा, so somewhere there is like the mad.
There is a lot of
misconceptions attached to it. So of course, when we were going through our courtship and then we decided to get married, then the first thing I told her, I need to tell you something. And I was so worried at that point of time. I didn't know that how is he going to react. And I told him that that I am epileptic, and you can find about it. Through different sources, because at time Google did not exist. So you can find about it through different sources, but this is what I am, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to go ahead with the relationship. And that's when he told, and I knew about it.
Oh,
so I mean and I knew about it, and because family friends, I knew about it, and that doesn't affect our relationship at all. So we're going ahead with the marriage. So that was the first fear I overcame in the sense of having a relationship and going ahead. Then when I conceived, again when I went to the doctor said for first 3 months you have to stop your medicines.
okay.
Because 3 months,
Yes,
as you know,
yes.
is the physical development of the child, so you need to stop your medicines. And I was scared.
I can imagine.
I was scared. Like God knows what is going to happen, because I was working at that point of time also. So then my parents were also scared. My mom especially was scared. And then we decided, okay. You won't imagine, I think that is where your willpower plays a strong role. And I was talking to myself, nothing will happen to me, nothing will happen to me, nothing will happen to me. Yes, I can go ahead with these 3 months without my medicines. And it happened that without 3 months, yes, it was peacefully done. Of course, I was at home, didn't venture out much. And then I think I had my attack when I was once holding my baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So of course, so when I'm talking about these things, I tell that these are there. These are physical problems which do exist. But yes, how as an individual you realize these things are there, but how do I go ahead and negotiate with these things and find out my way and work towards it. I cannot take it as an excuse that I can't venture out and do something. So that's where I say that any kind of disability, sometimes physical disability or mental disability, I would not call this as a mental disability. This is like a disease. It has to be controlled by taking medicines. Okay, so when we're talking about this, be aware about it. Go ahead, whatever your dreams are there, plan out accordingly. Be careful and accept it and go ahead.
I think that's the biggest thing over here, because in most cases, using it is a different thing.
Yeah.
Accepting and talking about it is a completely different ball game altogether. I mean, there are people who suffer from this, and there are people who suffer from bigger ailments and disorders and diseases.
Exactly.
But the way, when you're able to accept that and move on, I think that is the key here. And like I said, when we were discussing this, I kept thinking back, to the kind of people I have met and people who have suffered from such an ailment. And there are phases in their lives when they want to, just retreat into their shell and, I wouldn't say play the patient kind of a thing, but, want to retreat and not be out there.
Yeah.
And now when you see the change in those people, you wonder and you feel so good for them. So when you spoke about wanting to do this year and talk about about it.
Yeah.
And so tell me about that book that you're planning this year and how you're going to.
So I came across children, of course, being interpreted, as I told, that when they're viewed as, if you have epilepsy, then they're viewed. Even I have gone through that kind of bullying. Of course, we didn't know that was termed as bullying at that point of time, but of course, we've gone through those situations. We have gone through all kinds of restrictions, as I said earlier. And now I don't want, because I work with children, they are my buddies, I don't want them to go through that. And not to go through that, there are certain things which we can do. So when I'm talking about reading, so why not come up with a story which talks about epilepsy? Because when I was going through children's storybooks, I did not find anything regarding epilepsy. I have found about physical disability, I have found about autism, I found about certain things, but nothing about epilepsy. So I thought, why not, when I know what it happens, I know what a child, when he sees an epileptic child, what the child also goes through, he thinks that, the contorted face, there's foam in the mouth, all kinds of things, shivering happening, and they don't know what to do. And they get scared.
It is very scary.
It's scary. I think that's what we discussed also here. Last 2 days when we spoke about it. And it's so difficult for the child who's observing, and as well as for the child who is going through that.
Yes.
And we can't blame these children if they're bullying or they are scared of this child, because they're not aware about it.
Yes, absolutely.
So if these children become aware about it and they say, this child is going through an epileptic attack, and nothing to worry about, this is what needs to be done. How difficult is that? And as well as for the child who's going through an epileptic attack, he knows that if it happens, you don't need to feel ashamed about it. Because what happens, you might be when you have an epileptic attack. And for a child, just think about it, a 14-year-old child who in a classroom, who has got an epileptic attack in a classroom, and he has been in the classroom, what kind of emotional stress the child will go through when she comes to the class the next day.
Yes.
She knows that people are looking at her, they're talking about her, all these things happening. That's a very dreadful space for that child.
True.
So if the awareness is done amongst children that this is what happens, this is natural, this is a disease like any other disease, only thing is you have to take a medicine. And why this happens, if they know about it, there's nothing to do with to get scared about it. And that's where this idea of coming up with a storybook for children in a very child-friendly manner, nothing to get scared about it. That is the idea which came up, and I'm coming up with that book. So that parents can use it, schools can use it, as well as children, they can, even it can be read aloud or they can read it on their own, depending upon the age.
Since when we talk about this, I'm reminded of the movie Hitchki, where Rani Mukherjee has this stutter and her face gets contoured. I think after that movie came out, many children are suddenly aware of such a disorder, and I think they're a little bit more accepting. I believe the fear is that as a parent, I try to shield my child from cases like this. I don't want my child to know too much or get scared too much. I think that is what you are trying to take away, that fear.
Yeah.
If you are aware, then the fear is less.
Yes.
So does your character have a name? The character in your book? Have you thought of a name? Okay, so yes, she's coming out with a book on a child who has epilepsy. And for those of you who don't know epilepsy, maybe you can explain what epilepsy is, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who still don't know what epilepsy is. So if you could,
So epilepsy, nothing to scare about it.
Yes.
If your child gets an epileptic attack, so of course you need to go to your doctor, and of course then they will guide you what it needs to be done. Don't stop your child from doing anything as well. So you know what they can do, what your child can do. Just be a supportive parent, that I would say. Epilepsy, of course, it's about your nervous system. It affects your nervous system, your brain nervous system. So there are certain medicines which you need to take lifelong depending upon the kind of medicine, but that needs to be diagnosed, which I can't say as an individual. That's entirely to the doctor, and they will guide you what needs to be done. What as a parent? Yes, as a parent, only be supportive to your child. When your child has everything within her, it's just that your support will make the difference.
Absolutely. And she is a living example of a person who has suffered epilepsy, who has taken medication, who's a brilliant storyteller, and I think she uses all of those experiences and all of that to perform on stage, bring to life a character which, like I said, the Dada Dadi stories that we used to hear then were relevant then, because most of us came from joint families. But now in nuclear families, there is nobody to sit with the child and tell them a story. So people like her come in and revive the art of storytelling, so to say.
Yeah. So we are working on Indian language storytelling because languages are dying. So that's what we are coming up with. How we can use, basically children can listen to our regional language storytelling. There are so many folk stories, there are so many epics, legends which we have, beautiful stories which we have. The children are not, they have not been told as well, and especially when we have a kind of family system right now where everyone speaks in English.
Yes.
And children are slowly forgetting their mother tongue. So that's where we are talking about regional language storytelling, getting exposed to that. So that's what we are working on. We are calling that as Project IBAC, that's Indian Bhasha, Art and Kahani.
Project
IBAC.
IBAC.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where we are working towards that. That's about art and culture, stories about our temples, sculptures, beautiful stories which exist, which our generation is slowly
losing out on. We're forgetting. Yes. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I, for one, am looking forward to the book launch, and I hope, like you said, I hope there is more awareness. People are more aware. They get to. There's no reason to shun a person for not his fault or her fault. I mean, we cannot hold you responsible for something that you were born with. But to overcome that and come through as a winner, I think that is what is important. So thank you again, Dilse, and it has been a pleasure having you here.
Same here.
Thanks. Till we meet for the next Saath Ki Baat, thank you all.
Thank you.